My name is Jack Hickey, and my research seeks to investigate the effect of simultaneously performed physical exercise and working memory tests on statistical learning, or better known as implicit language learning in adolescence. My research tests the hypothesis that explicit memory interferes with implicit memory by investigating if onsetting a state of temporary cognitive fatigue can increase implicit learning. Cognitive fatigue, much as the name implies, is described as a state of decreased overall cognitive abilities. There's many ways in which cognitive fatigue can be induced, but one way I look into in my research, and that has been looked into many times before, is cognitive fatigue through working memory. The constant active memory information recall and storage results in neurons firing within the brain, increasing the glutamate concentration within the brain overall, which as a result can disrupt the communication that these neurons have and create potentially toxic effects, specifically in the prefrontal cortex, which is primarily associated with explicit memory. So it seems kind of paradoxical that a state of cognitive fatigue would increase implicit memory, but the idea rests on the idea that explicit memory actually interferes with implicit memory. And while previous research has investigated this with working memory tests alone on implicit learning in languages and motor skill sequence learning, no research has been done combining these working memory tests with aerobic activity, as I hypothesize it actually might exacerbate the effects of cognitive fatigue, and we could see that in the results. Um, to do this, I'm having participants complete a dual NBAC test, which is my working memory task, and it's fairly simple in nature as the participants are asked to click a button designated for either a color or position on a 3x3 cube, where a block that appears is in the same position or in the same color as it was the previous time. While participants complete the working memory task, they're also biking at 70 to 80% max heart rate on a stationary bike for 20 minutes. The control group also sits for 20 minutes, and afterwards, both groups take the statistical learning test. The participants listen to 8 minutes of novel audio during the exposure phase of the statistical learning test, during which 1,500 syllables are played, making up 300 words. While participants don't exactly know how the test will work, they are told to listen closely to the audio as it plays. After a short 10-minute break, participants are asked questions in which 2 words are played for them, and they have to identify which of those out of the 2 words is a word previously played in the audio. Additionally, for each question, participants assess their confidence level with the accuracy of their answers. If participants report low confidence for their answers but are getting questions right more often than not, then we could imply that there was some implicit learning within the participants. And we can actually see this within some of the results that I've seen, because there's been a slight correlation between higher implicit learning within the aerobic activity and working memory task group versus the control group, while the overall learning of both groups has been relatively the same. Now this is my research project, and I'm Jack Hickey, and I look forward to seeing you at the State Fair.